I'm going to guess that is on somebody. We'll see. But we are live on all the rest of them. How we doing, everyone? Coach David here at Metro Jiu-Jitsu, and we got a full house. We got Professor Muhammad, Terry Willman,
Hey.
Lisa Ortner, and your last name?
Kelly.
No.
Kelly.
Kelly?
Yes, name's Kelly.
All right. What? Why was I thinking? I was thinking it was like not Kelly. I apologize. So I appreciate you guys being here so much. You guys are staple parents of not the only staple parents, I should clarify, but staple parents in the program, and appreciate you making the time. I heard you talking about your work schedules and coming in off of that, so definitely making the time for it. We're going to get right into it. If you guys could introduce yourself and kind of who your kids are, how long you've been training at Metro. Do you train jiu-jitsu? And kind of what made you first seek out jiu-jitsu. We'll go left to right.
Harmony Kelly. I have 3 kids that are training at Metro Jiu-Jitsu. Blake Kelly, Samuel Kelly, and Anya Kelly. In about 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah, about 4 years now. And what else was to say?
That's like probably kids that age. That's like 10 inches shorter. 4 years ago.
Yeah, and we were looking at past pictures yesterday. They've definitely grown.
Oh yeah.
And for context, so we had Anya on. Was it 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Anya on 2 weeks ago. So she won gold. She was on with Evelyn, and which will segue nicely into Lisa.
I'm Lisa Ortner. Evelyn is my daughter that has been training with Metro for 5 years now. We actually found Metro when everything was opening up after quarantine. Best thing that...
I thought you came after? I thought you came before.
We came summer camp when you guys opened up summer camp.
Oh, you did summer camp before.
And then she did e-learning.
Oh, man.
And then from e-learning, she's like, can I drop out of dance and do jiu-jitsu?
E-learning at Metro?
Uh-huh.
What a
Remember that?
train wreck. What an absolute... I mean, we were grateful to have you. Yeah, but like...
I'm
what,
grateful for
what,
it.
What
We
what
tried to keep the doors open.
You know what, man?
Any way we could.
If nothing else came out of that e-learning catastrophe, if we got Evelyn, that was worth it.
She's a diamond in the rough, by the way.
That was I legitimately forgot all about. I
e-learning,
blocked that
yes.
period out out of my life.
No, but that was great. You guys kept the kids on task and gave them something fun to do in between.
Yeah, well, that's what you do in a state like that. So, Miss Terry, we're gonna go on to you.
Terry Willman. Jackson practices jiu-jitsu, has been with Metro for about 7 years. I actually had a free trial.
You did?
Yeah. We found Metro. I was looking for actually a Father's Day present, and
I think I remember
there was a special that you guys had going, and I thought this would be cool for Jackson and his dad to do something together. And actually, Coach David's wife, Amanda, said, well, what about you? It's like, what about me? She's like, well, women do this too. I was like, well, let's see what happens. So we got Jackson in, got his free trial started, and then Aaron and I started having conversations. And I'm like, I'm just doing this because it's free, and you guys said okay. So I was very uncomfortable, and I only lasted, I think, maybe 2 weeks. And I said, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. My husband hurt himself, and then I'm like, okay, I was doing it for him, and then now I'm not going to do it. But Jackson stood strong and loves it. So like I said, he's been doing it for 7 years.
And you are training. How many years have you been now? You jumped back in. How many
I
years
did.
you've been training?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do remember the day that that you came in, and I just never forget. You were like, you reminded me of like kind of just a really dialed-in parent asking so many specific questions. Like you're straight business, and it wasn't about the money or anything. It was about like I could just seen that look in your eyes. You wanted to make sure it was legit. It was like an operation. We knew what we were doing, and you asked very detailed questions. And glad you did, because 7 years went by really quick. And I'm sure the viewers are here that Metro and you and your family and you guys have accomplished a lot
Yeah,
in 7 years. So
it's been fun.
yeah,
So wait, so you came in. All right, so you came in actually for Aaron. Is what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, well, around that time, Jackson was like 7, and it was about Ninja Turtles and being a ninja and
Yeah,
all of
boy.
those things.
I
So-
support it. I'm
yeah.
here for it.
And when Aaron was younger, he took karate classes with his dad.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I was trying to think of something for Father's Day for them to be able to bond or to do something.
Okay.
And I live downriver. I live in
Yeah.
Wyandotte, and I was driving by and I saw on the sign. I don't think it was even a digital sign at that time. I think it was just like the letters up or something, or maybe a board, and it said, "Hey, 30 days free." I was
Yeah.
like, I had no idea what
Yeah.
jujitsu was.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, something martial arts. Let's do it.
Man.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's Now, so that's the story of Lisa and Terry. Harmony, how did you guys find us? Like, because it just is, it's literally as long as I can remember, and my memory is shorter now than maybe it once has been. But you guys have all been training. Like, I thought if gun to my head, I thought for sure Evelyn was with us since like day
No,
one.
it was the
Like,
little signs lined up on Eureka Road.
Yeah,
that
for
I followed
e-learning.
in,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, we got ticketed for those, by the way. But that's
Well,
okay. It was
because
worth
my
it.
family wouldn't watch her.
Yeah.
So I had to find somewhere
Yeah.
that would take her.
Well, yeah, and they were, because everything was shut down,
Uh-huh.
right? Schools or something. How'd you find us, Harmony? How'd you originally find us? Was
Honestly, it was my husband. He's totally into like UFC fighting and everything, and
Uh-huh.
he was like, "Oh, I think we should get these kids involved in there." And I'm like, "Well, they're in a lot of sports. Well, we're on a pause right now with all the sports." He's all, "But let's get him into like jiu-jitsu. I think that'd be really good for him." I said, "He's all, this will be my sport with the kids. Like the plan was he's supposed to be going with these kids,
But you're the
right?"
one always
But then
there.
his work schedule changed, and I just got thrown into it.
I don't.
And
Have I met your husband? like I'm like this is gonna be really. I'm
In the
hesitant to
very
ask because
beginning- in the very
okay.
beginning, yeah, and he goes to some tournaments, but yeah, his work schedule is
That
like,
is so
totally
bizarre.
changed. It went from where it was before, where he could go, and then all of a sudden it was like
So
changed. So now
Dad-
it's me. I'm like the full time. I knew nothing about.
Dad
this
is
stuff.
like, don't worry, this is gonna be me and the kids,
Yeah.
and it ended up being you and the kids.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Terry's like, this is gonna be Dad and Jackson, and Aaron's still, he's still trained. He trained for a minute. He did train for.
Yeah, he came back because we both, like I said, we both stopped the trial, and then it's actually Jackson who he was like, whatever happened to you guys doing jujitsu? You should do jujitsu. So he kind of edged us back into it, and then so yeah, he was there for a few years, and then again I think at that time he hurt his toe, and
It was
pretty bad.
that was a freak accident.
Yeah.
Like he literally he and I had a conversation about it, and he's like, Coach, so because I think we were emphasizing. We had people ducking out of matches, man. Like they were just like they would literally do technique and leave, which is I don't get that. But like they would just and he's like, Coach, I want to, but like it was his toe that like shattered his heel or something, right? Like it was, or was it just his? But he couldn't walk.
Right.
It's not like I stubbed my toe. Like he couldn't walk on
Yeah,
one
no,
foot.
He broke his toe in 4 places, like like a present,
like
both
like
ways.
folded it, like you're
Yeah.
looking at like a Christmas present on the
Yeah,
X-ray.
Yeah.
is there any hope that we can get Aaron back on the mat?
Maybe. I'm listening to my
What-
my manager over there.
What would it take? Is that a thumb? What would it take?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He said he's always wanted to get back into it.
Well, I know I'm the voice of reason for everybody that's a little bit older to just get in there,
You just got to jump in.
exercise a little bit, and then go home. Get the little workout, and so I don't push our busy people too much.
So I what you guys, since you have the And Harmony, I want to clarify. You said everything. You're on a break right now. Did you guys set a break and you're like we're pausing,
No.
or was like the
It was the whole
government
COVID, school sports were like,
mandated?
yeah, and
Okay.
like Anya's gymnastics was like paused, her dance classes were, and he's like, oh, well, this is a great opportunity, you know, because they jiu-jitsu classes are going on still.
Dad's like, this is
and,
great.
This is a great opportunity to get them into something different, and he's been trying to talk them into it, and then the kids were like, yeah, we'll do it. And even my daughter, who doesn't like, she's
Anya?
Kiani, their older sister, she tried the trial class, but she doesn't like when people interacting with people too much. So she did the trial class and that was it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sport for her, but the two younger ones loved it. I mean, Anya got thrown around a lot, and she was like, I like that. That was pretty cool. So, yeah. So we...
And then you have Paleke
Yeah,
as
like
well.
he
Yeah.
joined in because he was in wrestling in college.
He's a
at the time.
stud. He's a
He was
stud.
wrestling
We
in
were
college
wrestling
at
last
the time.
night. Yeah.
So
So what? So before jiu-jitsu, what type of experience do you guys have with sports in general, and like at what levels? Like what did you guys play? What sports? How active were you? And how much did you guys know about like organized sports and team sports before jiu-jitsu?
I knew nothing. My parents didn't let me do anything because my brother dropped out of every sport, so.
He ruined it.
But then I have a very active kid that wants to do, so
So this
I
is
just follow her lead.
so this was your first experience in like a group organized sport. Okay, so you didn't know what or what not to expect.
Not at all. I had no idea what jiu-jitsu was. I was only familiar with taekwondo.
How about you, Terry?
Yeah, so I played sports in high school. I was in track and cheerleading. And then, well, I always say powder puff too. So you
What's a
can't-
powder puff?
It's
Oh.
girls football.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Maybe that's
then-
where my daughters get that idea.
And then,
I heard Power Puff, and I was like, well, that's...
Powder Puff.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
and then I have three older. Jackson has two older brothers and a sister. So they were all very active. And then they wanted to start with football. They did that in like junior high at like the city level. Miriam was a cheerleader for a few years, and then right as soon as they started high school, all of them just gravitated towards soccer. Miriam did in junior high. She was on a travel team, so soccer for like 6 years straight. And then Aaron and I would play just as you get older, you know, you got to stay active. So we would play some rec teams, recreational teams through work.
Together?
Yeah. So we
Soccer?
Soccer.
Are you both...
Softball.
You both pretty competitive? I know you are.
Yes.
Who's more competitive, mom or dad?
Oh, my mom.
Yeah. I don't
I have
think...
a little bit of competitive streak in me.
Can you imagine playing... Do you play sports with Nancy? No. Like Amanda... boy. Like I can barely play Super Mario with her, and she'll get mad at me. Cause like I'm not waiting for you. You know what I mean? If you fall, you fall. Like so like that's I don't know. You guys handle that pretty
Yeah.
pretty
It's-
pretty well.
You got to do your part.
Yeah.
If you don't make it, then you left. We'll see you later.
All right.
So of all those sports that you had the kids in,
Yes.
were any of them like? Did you go all in on any of them, or was it like because with different sports, there's like take soccer for example. There's club, there's select, there's travel,
Yep.
and then there's stuff like that. So did you go
Yeah.
all in? Which one?
So Miriam, so my daughter. So the boys, Zach played a few other things. It was really weird. He would just show up and say, "Hey, I got track pictures." I'm like, "Did you even have a meet?" You know, like we didn't even know he would join different teams. So the older boys, it was kind of hit or miss. It wasn't like they were super competitive. They did really great at their school soccer team, but they weren't on any travel teams. Miriam, we had her starting at like AYSO and like all of like the city groups and stuff. She signed up for something at Taylor Sportsplex, but the team was dissolved. Like they didn't have enough players. And then they had the club teams pick up the girls, and they watched them play, and she was lucky. There's a soccer club on Grozio, Chaos. They picked her up. and tried her for a season, told us we should have her try out, and then she played with them for over 6 years. And I think even after she graduated, she would still, like that last year, she would do some games with them, so we would travel around with them while she was playing high school soccer.
So we got, now that we got the formalities out of the way, you guys cool if I ask some intriguing questions? There's no wrong answers to them.
That's why we're here, right?
All right, yeah. So you're all on the comp team. Kids are on the comp team. My kids are not on the comp team with good reason. One, they're not great, but
There's
two,
hope for Jameson.
but yeah, Jameson. If anyone's going to be on there, he's going to be on there. But
Coach, when you say for good reason, what do you mean by that?
I mean for good reason. Like, have you seen them do a class?
Yeah, I've coached.
So you've
them
watched
since-
like Landon like lick the mats, like they're in the middle of the class, like he's not great. Like,
He
he's
has,
not.
guys clean
he
them
has a
regularly.
strong immune system.
Yeah. Well, that he does. Yeah, that he does.
Okay.
So, why do the comp team? Like, sell me on it. And when I say sell me on it, sell people watching it, because it can sound jiu-jitsu already. It's pretty demanding. It's like hockey or cheer or gymnastics. Like, those are demanding, right? So why not just like have this do? Because especially even Anya, I guess I didn't realize she's doing 2 other things. I don't even know.
Yeah, she doesn't.
I don't. So you just live in your car driving kids around, then, eh?
Yeah,
Like,
somewhere from work.
we got to get you an
car,
autonomous
yeah.
car. Like, so maybe Tesla can
brothers help a
sponsor.
lot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Driving around
Okay.
after practice.
So, like, sell me, like, what made you take the next step into comp team? Is my first question. So, like, we'll go.
My
in order.
kids wanted the challenge. Like, they liked the challenge, the extra challenge in training.
Yeah.
But they also wanted to be able to. They wanted to compete more too. So I didn't realize. I knew nothing. I didn't know like how to sign them up for like tournaments. I didn't know any of that stuff. But they said, oh, there's a competition team, and they do a lot more like training other than just like the regular thing.
Samuel came and brought this to you, or Anya, or both?
It was both of them. Usually if it's one, it's both of them.
Okay.
They usually talk to each other, and then they come over and they start
They
talking.
tag team you, eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my
they're,
gosh.
They're like a team.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
So, but yeah, they both came up to me and were just like, and their dad, and were like, we really want to do the competition team. I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, I thought I just signed you up for these competitions.
So I'm gonna say Jabril
So-
got in their head then, eh? They had to have been, or did they?
No,
he
it's
just
just other kids, I think.
Peer
just
pressure.
just talking to some of their friends were in on the comp team, and they asked what it was, and they were watching their practices and everything. I'm like, we want to go into those practices too.
okay.
So I'm like, well, you guys try out, I think. So
Okay.
I showed
So,
up and
like with gymnastics, with soccer, and my kids played hockey, and we travel. They're all in college now, but before they got older, the older 4, we've traveled all across the country while doing jiu-jitsu. And when you're on like a travel team or a select team, a lot of it is like organized for you, and you're kind of following the coach and what they do. In jiu-jitsu, one of the things that happen is like, we have some team tournaments, but a lot of it is research on your own.
Yep.
So when you guys get to it, just a question for all you guys, like that's different. Like you're kind of going to a tournament alone or registering alone, or there might not be that many people. How did that make you guys feel as parents when like that happened? Like everybody's not there. Like you practice soccer all week, you prepare for a game, football, hockey, all those other sports. But like, how did that weigh in your journey as parents for kids who are doing jiu-jitsu full time?
it was overwhelming for me at first, but the kids seemed fine. They just moved with the flow and just went and competed, whether there was a coach or not. I mean, as long as they were moving with the flow, but eventually we got used to it. But
Which Evelyn always preferred going where there were teammates, but
Sure.
this year we ventured out of that, and it actually turned out well because she knew what to do.
When we after the first Michigan Open
Yeah.
that you guys had,
And the last Michigan Open. That was the last Michigan Open.
And
it
we
was
won.
the first tournament, right?
And we won 4 months, 4 or 6 months into that tournament. everybody is
Oh,
as
that's
fresh
funny.
as you could possibly get, and we went in and we won that tournament.
The Alvarez affiliation. Did,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we were the majority of all of the competitors.
I think it was the t-shirts.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was
No,
it.
we won.
Mike's secret stuff.
Yeah.
Lime green T-shirts.
Yeah.
So,
I
and-
kept that
and-
one for a long time.
I have, but it's
Yeah.
paint covered now. It's a work shirt for me. But they so the Michigan Open.
Yeah, so after the Michigan Open, unfortunately Jackson only went against one of his teammates. He went against Ali, and he won. But again, it was like it's his teammate, and I was like, well, this is pretty cool. Like I just kind of got the lay of the land and how things kind of were organized and stuff. And I think I can't remember what it was, but you guys had an advertisement up by like the on the door or something of another one coming up,
Yeah.
and I would just ask the coaches of like, well, what is this? Like, what do I need to do? And they're like, well, you go online and you see different tournaments and you can sign them up. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did it myself. I registered them and I would ask questions and stuff. And then we would just go by ourselves. And that was one of the questions too. I think it was a Grappling Industries in Ohio. And nobody was with us. And the guy's like, oh, you need a coach. And we're like, well, no, and I just pointed at Aaron. I'm like, he's his coach, and he's like, well, and I'm like, come on, seriously. And then they let him in, and that was kind of like our first run at it. And we just like, okay, what other ones do you want to do? We think he liked it. He didn't, shy away from it. But then we just kind of got the bug and sent him everywhere.
So Evelyn or Lisa, as long as I've known you, I don't think I ever call you Lisa. I call Evelyn Lisa and vice versa. Why the comp team? I know you answered that they went to.
Well, we were there when it was brought to the gym, and Evelyn just showed extreme interest in it. I want to try this and see what it's about and have some tougher training, and so we've been there ever since.
So it was powered by
Evelyn. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Why the
Which I think's-
comp team
which I think's good.
and why competition? Because
Because
that's
she likes the
big-
challenge. Like the normal classes, I mean, yeah, you're still learning jiu-jitsu and doing your thing, but the coaches are a little bit harder on the comp kids to try to mold them into the better jiu-jitsu athlete. And she really likes the coaches that teach the comp classes.
Well, I'm not going to take that one personally. I would like the record to show that when I coach classes, I'm as hard on every other kid. So just for the record, I don't know if that's a selling point, but
The comp team is mostly gi.
yeah. Oh well,
Uh-huh.
okay,
Just-
valid. Oh
just
yeah,
letting you
I'm
know.
a head out. Yeah, I'm a check out. That's good. Yeah,
If I
Yeah.
just
She's dialed into you, David.
yeah.
She's
She's
dialed
just
in.
like you haven't. I had to find my gi for belt promotion. I had to go find it. I was like, where's my belts? Like I couldn't even find it. That's valid.
Can I just one comment about the comp team? So
Yeah.
you don't have to be on the comp team to go and have competition.
Thank you. I was gonna. She's like they wanted to compete more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
See,
yeah.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, but the other part of it is what we tried to do is just make it more of a community because, like
Yeah.
I said, when we first started, there wasn't. I mean, some of the people are like, yeah, you can sign up if you want. You don't have to. It's just like, oh, okay. And so it was more of a lot of research and trying to find
Godspeed.
things
Yeah.
on your own. And that was one of the things is just trying to build like a community. So when somebody comes in,
Yeah.
then they know, hey, these are some of the things that you can expect.
Yeah.
And making sure that, we talk to each other and we share it, even memberships for IBJJF. And even recently just talking to Coach DeBrill and Coach Fettis is, hey, these kids are getting a little bit older or, the industry of ADCCs is getting a little bit more. Is this
Yeah.
going to be something that you're going to expect them to do? I had mentioned it's mostly gi, but does it have to be? Some of these kids, and I was surprised.
No, not at all. Does not have to
Yeah.
be at all.
I was surprised how they flip flop a little bit between, because I know I watched some of the podcasts when you're like, do you like gi or no gi? And
Yeah.
some of the, I'm like, what? They like no gi now? Kind of thing,
Yeah.
because it was more of, hey, this is gi and this
Well,
is where
they're
you're going to go do
mature.
it.
They're maturing. They're getting wiser.
Evelyn used to prefer no
gi.
gi, but then she realized there's more grips to help you do stuff with the gi.
Yeah.
That's right.
She was converted.
That's
No.
right.
Well, she liked the lighter weight uniform.
Yeah.
So have how have you guys seen let's be a little transparent here. How have you seen Metro, the changes of Metro through from when you came? Because we're talking effectively the full lifeline. I'm not really counting the whole lockdown period as like that was like just a blurry phase, right?
A blur.
But a blip, right? So, but how have you seen things at Metro change? Oh, this is just a voice. I should probably switch that. How have you seen the things at Metro change over the years? Are there any things that we did where you're like, I'm glad you changed that because that's a train wreck, was a train wreck? Or are there any things like, how have you seen, are there any things that we did add, i.e. the comp team or something that you're like, yeah, that was pretty cool. And then let's start there. So what changes have you seen? What was the good, the bad, and the ugly? And you're not going to hurt my feelings. And if, yeah, I mean, we can always go back and delete this later. So I have no idea what these answers are going to be. So it's a wild west here.
Oh, for us,
Harmony, yeah, you're first.
Okay, I think it's gotten a lot more structured a little bit. When we first joined, it was. Well, then again, it could just been us just thrown into a bunch of chaos. But you had like it was a lot smaller because you had the bleachers set up, and then you had that like a playroom or something.
Remember
you know?
when that was back before we
Yeah.
even expanded the mats?
Yeah.
That kid cave back. I
Yeah,
forgot
the
about
kid
that.
cave.
I may have Alzheimer's, dog. I forgot
You
about
blacked
that.
out.
Yeah, I forgot about that whole like section because then the kids would be, you'd be on the mats and the kids would be in the quote kid cave, and the noise level it would just bounce right off the wall right onto the mat. So you're like trying to coach like, all right guys, we're gonna knee cut, and they're like, rah, 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 and then I'd have to go over and use my dad voice and screech it. I forgot all about that, Harmony.
It was crazy, and there were bleachers.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
like,
out in the
on the mat
lawn
area.
right now. Well, now they're out there.
They're out
So
there,
for sale, if anyone wants them, by the way, like I'll sell you some bleachers. Lisa, almost did it again. Lisa.
I mean, I feel like the parents' lounge is like one of the biggest upgrades with all the cameras and TVs so that you can still see the children,
Yeah.
but then you don't have parents just around the mats yelling and
How was that? Can we go into that as a parent perspective? Because let's dive into that.
well, I've heard stories. I personally never saw anything like too horrible,
Oh,
but
dude.
like, parent like they're choking my kid. Well, they're supposed to right now.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the demerit system that we had for like 2 weeks?
For the parents.
For the parents.
Yeah.
For the parent, dude, I had parents storm out. Like we would have first off, the road was paved with good intentions. We specifically outlined, like when we did the build out, we're like, we're gonna leave an area for chairs
yeah.
so that parents can watch Matt's side. And it was so, and there was at one point, every class it would be we probably had 40 parents Matt's side, and what was nice is, I guess the pro was you do get a front row seat, but who wants a front row seat to their child being strangled lifeless, and so then I had the worst scenario, the thing where I was like, all right, we're done with this, was like I had a mom run on the mat with her shoes. It was her kid's first day. She's like, what the heck kind of institution are you running there? He's choking my kid or something. And I'm like, I clearly I didn't explain this well enough, and over time, what it would turn into, parents would treat it like cockfighting is what it would. They'd be like getting into like, get him. And I'm like, guys, you need to relax. Like, this is class. This is practice. Like, you need to relax. And so we had a demerit system. We have a pretty strict rule. We still have one. Just don't talk to the kids, right? Don't coach your kid. I don't coach my kid. You don't coach your kid. Like, just don't talk to the kids. If you're going to sit there, don't talk to them, right? Be silent. And if they did, our coaches, because you had like 15-year-old coaches, you're going to go up to a 45-year-old man and be like, hey, don't talk. Like, that's not going to end well. So, and they were like nervous to do it. Well, like, here, just give them a demerit. Demerit said something. We'll still have them in the office. It'd be funny. It was like, you've been warned. If we have to give you another one, we're going to ask you to leave and go in the other room. And a lot of times they would get so salty they would just leave after that, because you get but that was the demerit system. That was
I vaguely remember.
it was like it wasn't around long because shortly after we just like I think we started to build out the lounge.
This is a good
Terry.
thing I didn't know what it was.
It was that was a bad idea. That was a bad decision on
Well,
our
these are
part.
probably three of the parents where you never had to hand the card to.
I've never even seen
And
that.
I mean, you guys
I
are the
don't think-
coaches. I don't know what it is, so you guys are going to handle what's happening on the mat. I trust you all enough.
Yeah, it was more like dads who wrestled or dads who were competitive. The worst, if dad wrestled, I'll kind of cut him some slack. But it's like dad who wanted to live vicariously through his 6-year-old. And like, get him. I'm like, dude, how about you step? Adult classes right after this one. I'll get you a trial shirt, and you can step on the mat, and you can stand up at will. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I played soccer growing up. I played varsity soccer as a freshman in high school, and in many other sports. And I coached my girls in soccer. My boys I watched. My girls I coached. And leading up to so Isa, my son, they won 2 state championships in soccer, and I was a dad, just like you guys are on the sideline. And I tell you what, as a dad, I was livid. Even though we went to the state championship, I think 3 times, we won it twice. I was livid at just so many things, but I knew as an athlete and experience with kids, that's not my job. I can go home and kick stuff around and yell at anybody or everybody, but I have to let them do their job. So being mat side, like Coach was just talking about, some parents did not know how to disconnect and say whatever's happening at that moment, you kind of are releasing full responsibility and authority to your child on what to do, what not to do, and reinforcement. So in your answer also, I'd like to know how you guys, I don't know about the experience, but my experience tells me I know better from myself and going through it. How do you guys disconnect and not like, Jackson, do this, or Lisa, do this, or don't do that? Like, how do you guys disconnect and let the organization do their job, whether at Metro and other sports? Like, what can you talk to us about that? Because you're 3 kids or 4 kids and more, 5, 6, 7.
I only have 4.
Okay, 4, 5.
You just got 3 added.
10.
6. I only have 6, not
4,
10.
At least
5.
one.
We have the test results
10,
for Aaron. We got 3 more for him.
So we're talking about 16 kids. How do you what can you speak to about like letting people do their job and how you guys have been good at it, and the end result is your children are actually above the line as far as like technically, physically. I would say their maturity level. You can compare them amongst a lot of kids, and they're above that. So you guys are doing a lot of things like really, really well. Amazing kids. So how do you do that? How do you just back off?
I don't.
But you train and
don't-
have knowledge, though.
But there's certain things. I mean, I don't know. I try to use some common sense into it too. I liked the chairs around the mat because I did like to see it, but I understand why you guys took it away. I did have a run-in with a coach, only because when Jackson was younger, he picked up with jiu-jitsu really well. We were shocked at how good he was at an early age. And there was a point where kids didn't want to match with him. They would literally run away from him in practice.
I'm just picturing a little 7-year-old. Jackson's trying to grab, and another 7-year-old just running away.
They did.
They do it though. They absolutely do it.
So I talked to him and I said, hey, when there's a new kid that comes in, just practice
beat
light.
the new kid up?
No, practice light with them.
Mhm.
Don't go full force. Don't show all of your stuff. Just let them do a takedown on you. Let them practice some stuff too. He's like, okay.
She told you to take a fall, Jackson. That's what she did.
I did. Just to build some friends.
Of course. Yeah.
And one of the coaches came up to me and told me not to talk to them, and I went off on him. And I told him, I said, well, maybe if you were doing your job and you saw what was happening, I wouldn't have to. And we had a conversation afterwards, and it was fine, but it was like, it's not just about the technique and execution and everything. These are little kids. And you need to see some of those other things too, those mannerisms, the personalities, and the other things that are going on outside of just doing the motions to make sure that everybody is getting the experience or the practice that they need to.
Do you see as training yourself, and do you guys see as parents that the kids that don't want to train with your son like they did at that time happens? It's a process, and it's a part of jujitsu that essentially will never go away. It also happens with adults too. So it is part of the process that just happens.
It is.
I think that's a. I think it's you know, it's.
And I will say, Coach, sorry to interrupt you.
You're okay.
I'll say it here. I have never told a kid, take it easy on this kid, or take it easy on that kid. And I've never told them to take your foot off the gas throttle because.
It was Mo that you yelled at, wasn't it?
No.
It was. Oh, okay.
No, it was-
Well, I'll tell you why, because like they don't understand 0 to 100. They don't understand what 30, 50%, 70% means, and they're just kids. And so for me personally as a coach, if they have the instinct and the drive to like go really hard and take somebody down and they end up making another kid cry, part of the process of what jiu-jitsu is, the introduction, is it's a physical sport. Obviously as coaches we want to like minimize that, but I don't think that kids in general should be told slow it down, you know,
I don't.
in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I don't either. But as a parent seeing that,
Yeah.
I was afraid he would not like it because he would. Jackson's very emotional, and he likes people. He wants to. Hey, let's do this. You know, he doesn't see it as I'm going to take you down 15 times one after another, and this is going to be fun. You know, like he's like, yeah, we're just practicing jujitsu. But then, as a parent, if it was just one kid, I'd understand. But then, as he was going to try to find partners, and they were kind of running away, no, I don't want to. Then now I see it as like, oh, he's not going to like this sport.
Because people were.
Dodging him.
Yeah,
Well, he was repelling people.
right.
yeah,
And then,
yeah.
not shortly after that, there was I can't remember if it was Coach DeBrill or Coach Fettis, addressed all of the kids and said, if somebody wants to match with you, if somebody walks away, you have 15 push-ups. You know, like you have to go against partners. Like you can't just not do your rounds and things of that sort. So, and I'm not saying kids should be punished either, but it's more of, hey, this is a contact sport and you have to get into it. So
And
I
sometimes,
just felt like they were more engaged in making sure that more kids were going and
but
working with the
sometimes
kids.
that harder one will just make that other kid stronger
Yeah.
and
Come hard,
better.
work
Or
harder.
quit.
Yeah.
Or quit.
Well,
Yeah,
you know
either way.
that's the. I view it as like there's a 3 or 4 sided puzzle that to be mindful of, right? Like of course you can take that approach, which my father did, right? Like oh, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, I suppose maybe, right? Like, and there's a lot. I'm grateful to a lot of it, but then there's also when you're dealing with, and Jackson started at 7. I mean, a kid's spirit is so malleable at 7. You know, like he could have potential to be super, super great, but you don't want to break and crush his spirit into something that, so that his first blush at that is a complete turnoff, right? And so I do think there is wisdom. There's a manner of wisdom in how you go with new people, from the kids and things as well. How you go with them, and the whole point of jiu-jitsu is so that you can protect yourself and protect those who can't protect themselves, right? Like in my mindset, like that's why we're here. That's why I started. And so if I use jiu-jitsu to just like, you know, flex and feel good about myself on every trial, dude, you're just kind of a bully in disguise a little bit, right? I'm not saying Jackson's running our soundboard. So when I look over here to Jackson, I'm not saying that's what Jackson's doing. He was just trying to get the takedown, right? So obviously, so I think there's, and at the point, I don't know at what time frame there was, that's a difficult. I had a long conversation with a parent about this too. Like Jackson's naturally athletic and physical. Landon, Scarlett, not at all, right? Like at all. even still to this.
I would disagree with that
Scarlett's got. I feel like you need. I'm gonna show you tape of Landon, bro. Like I'm gonna show you tape. That was gross. I'm gonna show you tape of
I
Landon.
got
Like
exclamation all the way down the line.
he's got. Okay, all right. So
But
That Jackson is athletic or whatever you want to call it. But go
he's
ahead.
but there's still a lot of work. That kid trains hard. So whether you're naturally athletic or
Thank you.
Sure.
have to train,
yeah.
I see him and he pushes me. I see how much he tries and how much he practices and his dedication too. So it just wanted to make sure.
Jackson.
When
Yes,
you say
yes.
naturally athletic, it doesn't mean that it's easy and it just comes in. I think the technique, he flows well in his mind. That's the athleticism
Yep.
that I see. But his strength, his purpose, and everything, it's a fight for him to get there too.
Well, and I'm sorry to clarify. I was rewinding like back in time. You know, like when there was seats Matt's side or whatever. Like he still would have been relatively new, and you have to balance between nurturing the kids that want to take it far, right? Like which is the comp team, but then also you know kind of meeting the beginners where they're at, and then also like a lot of people train for the intangible aspect of it as well. So. Has there been Terry? You kind of led into. I think you read my mind. You read into a follow-up question. So that was one. Were there any misses? Any things that we had that like? Did we answer that one? Did any things that we did that we were like, I'm glad you got rid of that, or that we changed along the way, other than the parents' mad side.
Yeah, well, also the playroom area too. That's
The kid
the
cave,
kid
yeah.
cave, whatever. I mean, my kids liked it.
It had good intentions. It had an Xbox in there. Yeah, that was a fail.
I think
What's
just one. It's not a bad thing. I would just say it caused a little worry. Is starting the Westland location.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
A lot of us were talking, the parents and stuff. It's just
Sure.
like, wait a second, my kid comes here 6 days a week. Like, what coach is he going to get? Because they do. I think it was mentioned before they build a bond with these coaches and they work with them. And I voiced some concern there is what's going on, and they're like, nope, it's okay. We understand this. We're gonna figure it out.
Was this in the comp team?
Not officially.
You should also.
It's
we
just
should.
the parents talking.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
that
in general.
comp. I got added to the comp chat. Every now and then I'll check it. Like I'll come in like once a week and I'll just like drop a one-liner and then I'm gonna leave again. Like that thing does not stop. That comp chat you guys have. Like I'm like this is rowdy.
Note
it's
to
just.
self delete, Coach David.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. He has
So-
nothing to contribute to this
I'm just
conversation.
Teams grow, companies grow, organizations grow. That was a major concern of Coach Jabril, and he was probably the biggest balance on the opposite side of us doing something like opening up Westland. And he was very concerned about that. And him and Coach Faddis, they've been so vested, like in the kids and the program and the competition team, formally and structurally was essentially nurtured by them, right? But these things happen. So how has it been? And more importantly, like how would you guys at this point of where you're at with your kid's career in jiu-jitsu, how do you guys think you're going to handle if, let's just say, it's not him, it's not their main coach that they've been with for years, and they do move out here or they move somewhere else? And I'm asking this question not just as Metro jiu-jitsu, as like sport in general, because coaches don't last. You know, he might, if it was up to me, he'd be on the mat for the rest of his life. He's studying to get into law school, right? So how have you guys thought about that, and what are you going to do?
I mean, my kids have brought it up before, especially when they didn't know if they were gonna like how when the location would open. They love their coaches, obviously, but they just I don't know, to be honest. They've talked about it. They said I don't know what we would do if we had other coaches, but that's all. That's pretty much as far as the conversation had gone. I know like during other organized sports, like my daughter gets really attached to certain coaches, but I told her if you're leveling up, you're going to be having a new coach. And I know emotionally it was hard for her to break from one coach to another. And then, so I can only imagine if she lost Coach Brill and Coach Madison, if it's dramatically done too.
Yeah. How about you, Lisa?
I mean, you just have to roll with the punches. You know, if that change comes about, we would just have to assess who would be taking their places, and hopefully they're as compassionate towards the kids as what these children are used to. And I mean, eventually these kids are getting older, so they're going to transition away from the comp and just be in adult classes. So,
Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they never stop competing.
well, hopefully, but they transition out of that era into the adult competition.
Well, you know, all of our conversations with like Coach Jabril and like for the last probably 3 years, he has been planning and pushing his weight to change it from the kids competition program to now tailoring and structuring to everything is for them, because they're getting in there and they're essentially like they're gonna have the skill and knowledge of like purple belt or above.
Coach Jabril, I swear, like I've seen him and Coach Fettis grow up,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of times when some of the parents would be like, "Remember, they're only 18. Remember, they're only 19." You know, it's like they're not a full-grown man coach, so
Yeah.
we have to tailor how we talk to them as well. Like Coach Jabril seems like a Papa Bear, you know, like these are his
Babies.
pups.
He
You know?
really looks at them
He
like
does.
that. I can't tell you. He's so freaking protective of like that whole
Yeah.
thing. Kids program and then in the middle competition kids.
Mhm.
He's so protective.
But
like
I can tell you the feedback I gave him is he needs to let them go. Only
I agree.
because I watch some of the little ones coming up and through and everything, and Jackson, even though he's the older group, he's only 13, he'll be 14, is they are going to be transitioning, like Lisa said. They do need to go into adult class. And these little kids, they need them. They need to be that next generation of what this
Yeah.
comp team is. And I tried to have a conversation with him. You know, you guys were there when I called my little meeting, and just let him know is, hey, this can't stay how it is forever because it will die.
yeah.
There needs to be some newness. There needs to be new energy. There needs to be a different way of doing things. Other parents coming in, having ideas. And it has transitioned over the last few years. But I just had this conversation with Coach Fettis and Coach DeBrill on a Sunday after Jackson's privates. I just told him, I said, hey, I know we have a few more years. Jackson's been with you guys for going on 7 years. He only has 4 more. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? I said, he's a freshman, man. He's going to be a freshman in the fall. When he's a senior, like, if he's not in my house, I don't know how he's going to pay for it, basically. So, and he's either
Don't
going
worry,
in,
Jackson, we got you. Don't worry.
he's going into the military or he's going to college or something. Not saying he can't be part of Metro, but like I want to make sure that we understand what that transition is like. Jackson sees Metro and you guys and the coaches as family,
Mhm.
and it's been a huge part of his life. His sister went away to the military. Both of his brothers moved out, so there's been a lot of change at home, and that's been the constant. So as a parent, just making sure is I know that there's 4 more years and there's plenty of time, but we need to make sure this bond, it can be a lifelong bond, but we need to make sure that it transitions somehow, just so there isn't some of that devastation that happens when they do have that big break or something happening. So I don't see it's going to be bad, but I do think that there does need to be some conversations of what does this look like and how does it transition and how do we make sure that those relationships stay.
Who who's next up in your like, let's say Fatis, but he's not going to law school, right? But like he is engineering. What type? Mechanical, electrical,
Architectural,
architectural,
I believe so.
Electrical
Yeah.
engineering and
Electrical.
architecture.
architectural.
Like civil?
I don't know.
So
Housing, commercial, and yeah.
yeah,
And
that's some
residential.
witchcraft. The architect who
They're
put
very
those
smart
beams.
people,
I still don't
architects.
understand how this second floor is being held up based on what that engineer.
That's kind of what they
He
did.
showed it to me. I showed it to 4 commercial builders, and they were like, the inspector came in and was like, okay, and like he'll just walks out. He's like, if he signed off on it, like that was so they're wizards.
I forgot to mention, because I did want to make sure the comp team doesn't just have Coach DeBrill and Coach Fettis. They are kind of like the heartbeat to it. But Jackson would come home. He's like, "Oh, I had Coach Greg today," or Coach Shaheen was there, or Coach Colin. And I mean, I've seen them in adult class and everything, and I'm glad that he's kind of building a bond with them too. And some of them compete. So when we go to competitions and stuff, like we were just at IBJJF in Chicago, Coach Shaheen was there, Ashley was there, Coach Greg, or not Greg, Mark, yeah, was there. And it's like seeing these kids run around the mats, say, "Oh, wait, what's going on? What's going on?" They like to, see them compete as well, and they've built that bond. So I see that's a good transition, and that's happening. It's not just Coach DeBrill and Coach Fettis. I know that they're, like I said, the heartbeat of it, but bringing in some of these other adults or young adults that have the passion for jiu-jitsu and want to see the kids grow, showing some other technique or their passion too, I think is good.
I think it would helps with the transition too, honestly.
How important is competition in the sport of jiu-jitsu? And could you accomplish the same? Could you guys have the same children socially, emotionally today if they never competed in jiu-jitsu? So how important is it? And a follow-up question: if you guys like take privates and compete, obviously you compete, but how important is it to do the extra stuff to take your kids to the next level? So could you accomplish where they're at physically, socially, emotionally without competition in the privates to get that benefit of jiu-jitsu? You guys think you could be where you're at today without competing?
In the sport?
Yeah.
No. I think they would just be attending class like any normal, like a physical education class, and just they wouldn't know what kind of level they were at unless they were competing. So they would compete. They don't do privates though or anything like that. They just do practices and practice and everything like that. But if I didn't throw in competing in there, I don't think they would know where they were, how they were progressing in the sport at all, physically or anything, or mentally actually, if they didn't compete. So.
What about you, Lisa?
Okay, I mean, I pretty much agree with that. The competition, especially when you're going out of your state, it's giving you just new faces, different techniques, and to see what skills you actually are grasping.
How about off of the mat?
Off the mat, I think jiu-jitsu has helped me raise my daughter. It has helped mold her into the person that she's growing into.
And feel free to just veto this question. Has there been any do you feel like any of the coaches play a father figure role in Evelyn's life?
I actually just told Coach Jabril he is her father figure. I am a single parent, and Metro has given her a bunch of male role models to look up to, but especially her and Coach Jabril have like really, really bonded, especially in like the last year. I feel like I don't know, you guys really have helped me raise my kid. I mean, I like to think I instill some good things into her, but I just think the mindset of jiu-jitsu, it just helps build all those skills in life.
Yeah. Well, no one interacts in a silo, and I think that's important. We talk about jiu-jitsu and the coaches, but like any one of those, it's kind of like a system, right? Like a gear by itself, if it's not working with the others, they don't do anything. So like they work in conjunction, right? Even the parent involvement of can only do so much, but if the coaches say one thing and then they go home and there's no parent support or there's even disinterest, like it doesn't have to be negative reinforcement, but you're just completely disinterested, or it's just something the whole thing, they compound with each other. And so when you have the parents who are supportive, reinforcing the same message that the coaches are saying, and then you kind of get this compounding sort of benefit from it. So it's not just the coaches, it's not just the jiu-jitsu, and it's not just the parents working together is kind of like, the cliche, but as a village to kind of, kind of create that same thing, which is really important, and I sort of eat my own dog food on that with my kids as well. So
Would you have the same son? Could you get the benefit of jujitsu without competing? Could you just do jujitsu and train like 3 days a week and regularly since he was 7 years old? Would you still have the same product of a son that you do here without him competing?
Um,
No.
you don't have a mic. So,
I can get you a mic.
No.
Come sit by me. Come sit by me, Jack.
Knowing him, he would not be able to do that. And I don't know if I'm making sense with this. That's not Jackson's nature. That I think we're similar in a lot of ways where he just doesn't let it go, even when going through this process of the journey over the last 7 years. There's times when he's just like, yeah, I don't want to go, or yeah, come on, let's go. I gotta go. Jackson isn't one to do something halfway. So, like you said, if it's 3 days and maybe that's all somebody wants to do,
I'm going to disagree with you again. Also,
I think the discipline is there for 3 days.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just saying I know my son.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to disagree with you respectfully. All kids want to do something halfway when things get tough, but the right messaging and the right relationship with the parents and the son to either walk them through why we have to go or get your ass up and let's go to whatever sport we're in. So I think that now he was like that. He's not doing anything halfway, and I think that's been instilled with him. But I think that they're up to a certain point. The parent involvement is the most important thing in helping them keep that commitment. Sometimes it's an easy let's go, and sometimes it's like I'm going to drag your butt out the door and we're going.
Yeah.
So I think that you got him to that point. You and Mr. Aaron, but today he is like that. So
I would say, and I think it happens like that's just your household.
yeah.
Like even with the older 3 kids, I'm divorced and remarried with Aaron, so I was a single mom with 3 kids, and it's like you can't have chaos. You have to have a regimen. You have to make sure, okay, I'm one person and you're like feral cats. We need to make sure that we have a plan here. So what I'm trying to say is this is just how I've structured my life, whether it's in jiu-jitsu, at work, at home, I'm the same person. So when I say, would he be the same kid if he was just going 3 days or going to competition? He sees that same drive just, and again, right or wrong, I'm not saying everybody has to have the right thing, but this is just how I've raised them. To say, okay, this is what I have to do, and this is what I need to execute to do it. If it wasn't jujitsu, he would be in a different sport. He is in a different sport, just because he likes to be active. But I think competition does one. It's not just going through, and a big part is making sure that your skill, what skill you have, because you're going against different people. You're going against some of the best of the best. But outside of that, when they're adults, it's priceless, because you're going to be maybe in a board meeting, or you're going to be on the floor in a plant with somebody. You're going to have to use strategy and thinking process on how to do something, and being in tough or stressful situations. And I think jiu-jitsu does a lot to help manage some of those things and how they're going to be adults in the future.
I don't like how she makes it sound like so easy. Okay.
Earlier I said nothing was easy. You have to work hard.
One more question. Please talk to us and share your experience on the tough days. What did you do? How did you get them to class? I think that I think we're all lucky that they really love jiu-jitsu, and as many times a week and month as they've been coming and competing, there's a little bit of self-drive and self-motivation. But with any kids, there's been a lot of times, and it gets hard on parents. It gets really challenging. Picking up fast food from one sport and one activity to another. Traveling and dealing with like the little child emotions that are getting in the way of why we're either going to class or why we're traveling in the airport, in the hotel. Like the parent hat is on. How do you guys manage that stress as parents, and how have you handled it? Because it's not like a one-time thing. I know it's an ongoing, reoccurring thing. Some parents it's too hard for. Some parents throw in the towel, and some parents find a way to make it happen. You have a world champion daughter. Your daughter is a world champion, okay? And Jackson is a world. He's a medalist at the world championship level, and he's also a world champion. So he has multiple medals at the highest level in the world. Your daughter just won. And Evelyn is like with the only experience in sports really is this one, and you actually jumped into probably one of the hardest things that she could have ever done in her life. I joke that I think jiu-jitsu is harder than marriage. So if you guys could share your experience,
It is not, by the way.
if you guys could share your
Just for the
experience,
viewers.
how do you guys like? What have you done? Because other parents every day they just like, it's too hard. I'm too busy. You know, they're not into it or whatever. Why? Like, what's? I know there's not secret sauce, but you know, share what you've done with us and other parents.
I have,
Well,
I have a quick
yeah.
example, and I think I do. I don't know if he's changed it at the end or not, but I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Jackson wanted to play soccer and jujitsu, and I told him, if you do this, you need to commit. You have to be accountable for what you want to do. And with soccer, if you guys played soccer, they're running. And he was going, this wasn't in the summer, he was going to school, so getting up at 6:30 in the morning, going to school by 7:30, all in school all day, done at 3, coming home, going to soccer by 4, and then jujitsu by 6 or 6:30, something like that, and then there until 7, or if he was doing any of the adult class until 8. So there was no time, and there was times he would come into the car and he's like, I'm not going to jujitsu. I'm like, Jackson, you committed. You need to breathe. So, and I had his protein bars, I had his water and everything in the car, talking to Nancy. So I said, I'm going to drive over that way. You breathe, you do what you need to do, and then we'll talk about it when we're in the parking lot. And by the time we got there, he's like, okay. And then he would change in the car.
Did any part of you think you would get away with that? Like, or were you just like, right? Yeah, okay, all right. So we're just talking. All right.
But you see them, like, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Mentally
that's-
in school
yeah,
all
I'm
day,
feeling
soccer, running,
For sure.
drenched because he's
Yeah.
a sweater.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then coming to jujitsu, he knows he's gonna get it pounding, at jujitsu.
Yeah.
So, but making sure that he understands you committed to this. You didn't have to play soccer, but you need to be accountable. You need to follow
Yeah.
through with your actions, and you need to do it. So it's hard,
Mm-hmm.
but just being the voice of reason and reminding them sometimes of what they committed to.
Well, and that's why my child doesn't want to do other sports, because she just, I mean, when
Smart.
you're
Smart.
there 5-6 days a week, usually at least 2 hours a day, like, she doesn't want to add anymore, and she looks at Anya like, how do you do this? Like,
You're crazy.
uh-huh. My kid likes her downtime.
Yeah.
As much as she likes to be active, she likes to relax.
I have a question. What do you think that, like, if they had decided to evolve this, how would your mindset be if they decided to take it from jiu-jitsu and let's say they wanted to get into something like MMA? Like, is our sentiment the same on that? Is it, because I mean it's not completely unheard of, especially because they're all high rank, and so when they hit adulthood or even like not even like 17, you're looking at purple belts. And how old do you have to be for a purple belt? You can be a 17-year-old purple belt, right?
Helena
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah. So, and then like let's just say they like want to go that route. Do we feel the same? What are our thoughts? What are our thoughts on MMA for the?
My husband would be
For the
like,
kids.
"Oh yay!"
Yeah, he's
He'd
not.
be
He's
like,
not.
"Oh,
He's not.
yay,
He's
I
like,
mean-
I'll do it with them.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and then he'd be like, "Sit on
Harmony's
the
on the side.
I'm like, okay, where are you at now? No. But no, he'd be all for it, and I would of course be like, I don't know about that, but I mean, if they wanted to do it
Yeah.
and want to go there, hey, I'll support you. Scared for it, yeah,
man.
but
Yeah.
Which Evelyn and I have had that conversation, because she had
About
done the
MMA?
kick. She had tried the kickboxing
Yeah,
for
yeah,
about
yeah.
a year, but she don't want to be punched in the face.
I don't want her to be punched in the face either.
Yeah,
So
smart.
I don't think her road will ever lead her there.
Yeah. It's a different mentality. Shaking our head. No.
No.
Do we
I
is
don't
that
want him
in the
in a cage.
cards?
No, I've talked to her about it too.
No.
She's never.
So you brought it up as a possibility, and she vetoed it.
It was for like a month thing.
I was like, you got was it after CJI or something, or after one of the fights?
No.
No, it just came up. Okay.
Well, a lot of people say, "Oh, he's really good. Oh, wait, he's going to be in a cage." I said, "No, he's not."
You know, for the sacrifice, hard work, commitment, and energy put in to be like a cage fighter. Like, do you know how many UFC fighters there are? There's like several hundred. Many of which make less than a Chipotle manager. And they're enduring like pretty permanent damage to their body, you know.
crazy.
And so, like that's that's a totally different.
I had a cousin that did MMA. He did about 5 fights, and he's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I don't.
And that was at amateur level, you know.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with the Olympics
The Olympics.
if there was jiu-jitsu in the Olympics.
Do you think there will ever be jiu-jitsu?
If there
Well,
is,
isn't there
there's
judo?
some
Wrestling?
weird stuff in the Olympics now.
There's cornhole.
Are you kidding me?
Ping pong.
I'm gonna fact check it right now. I'm almost positive.
Well, I
there's
think it
cornhole.
was a little ridiculous with it breakdancing?
Oh yeah.
That was
The
that was
Olympics?
more of a PR stunt to
Yeah,
get like
the last
Sweden on the
Olympics.
mat. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
Oh,
ridiculous.
Google the lady because it's like a
Australia?
complete joke.
Australia.
Yeah.
I think it was more a PR stunt. Than
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
it was. Yeah, she like
Well, because
Somehow
their country
qualified.
was
Well,
talked about, so
yeah.
why not?
Isn't
weird.
karate in the Olympics?
Yeah, karate is
It
type
So
is.
how far fetched would it be for jiu-jitsu?
listen.
they have
Yeah, like
wrestling.
if it's
Yeah,
up to
wrestling,
if it's up to
so-
me,
I
like
thought they were
I'll
bringing
sign the
judo
petition
or
today.
jiu-jitsu.
Judo's
Judo's
already
there.
Okay.
The
Judo's-
biggest hurdle
judo's
for jujitsu in the Olympics is the rule set and the scoring, because so many different organizations have,
Have different
different.
scoring.
Yeah,
Cornhole is not in the Olympics.
I hope I see Jeremy Brewer in there one day.
in cornhole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause he's
Does he
full-
still practice?
no.
He's talking about cornhole. I think.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I heard
Oh,
the name.
yeah,
I
no,
hadn't seen him. I didn't
no.
know if he did or not.
No, he he doesn't train anymore to my knowledge, but yeah, I mean because the Olympics, so there is, I mean, even if you just got to qualify it, like do pretty well at that. There's every gold medal I think is 50 grand, so there's something, but then really the sponsorships that follow that, so like Simone, that's an extreme example, but Simone Biles, Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
I
I would just see it as, and again, I know there's some crazy things in the Olympics, but I would see that as this would be, wow, look at the accomplishment that you've had, your skill set, your drive, your ambition, because Olympic athletes are, I mean, the amount of training and everything else that they have, it's insane.
It is.
And dealing with the pressure and everything else. I mean, they're elite athletes.
It's mania. It's
Yeah.
it's almost to the point of mania is what it is. Interestingly enough, Todd, I think I told you this. Coach Todd at Monroe Jiu-Jitsu, it was a gold medalist in track and field in the 90s.
Wow.
An Olympic gold medalist in track and field.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
in the 90s, which is not surprising if you meet him. And then one of my first run-ins with another Olympic gold medalist is Mark Herbert at purple belt. Mind you, this is back when I was a guard polar. We were in the gi, and I don't even know how he ragdolled me. Like, he was an Olympic wrestler, and I went up. I don't know. Either I felt like I went up a weight.
In the
Or-
tournament?
Yeah, dude. And so so that was the one. I don't know if you were there. You had to have been there, but it was me. And you remember Chris Moreno? So we were boys. We were in the same bracket. Mark ran through me, and then Chris saw my match, and he like got scared, and I was like, man, I feel like I could get him if I could just like do something else. And he's like, you want to take my spot? I was like, no, dude, I'll let you take your fight. He's like, no, you can take my spot. I was like, okay. And so then Danny came over Danny came over and saw me going a second time. And he's like, Fox, what are you doing? Like I get off the mat, lost again. And he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I just wanted a rematch, coach. He's like, what happened to Chris? And I was like, he said I could take his spot. He's like, he quit. I saw it in his eyes. So he ran through pretty much everyone at that tournament, made through absolutes. I think a brown belt finally ended up having to take him out with something. And it was just,
Olympic anything is at a whole nother level.
yeah, that was a handful.
But these the kids competition program is definitely elite is an understatement, and the commitment, the training, the frequency, the intensity is intense is an understatement on what these kids have been doing and going through. So if Olympic ever does jiu-jitsu ever does go into the Olympics, like the type of physical and emotional investment, they are going to have a very, very familiar reference point of what it takes to train, what it takes to to win and go to the next level. And this type of camp that they went through, we as a team and individually, a lot of the kids did not get the result that they wanted, but that type of commitment, I firmly believe, is essentially saying if you can do that again and do it again, it's just a matter of time before your hard work shows up in a gold medal. It'll show up everywhere else, but first place is all we want when we compete, nothing else.
If you guys, if we had a recommendation box, we should have a recommendation. I've thought about that. Yeah, I mean, I'll vet it, right? I can vet them, but if we had a recommendation box, what would be a recommendation, or what are some things you guys might want to see at the gym that would be cool?
Or anything else you guys want to bring up? You haven't.
I've already mentioned it.
Terry's biting her lip, right?
No, I'll say it. I'll say
it.
it. I think, and I know there already is some structure, but I think that with the kids, it should be tougher. I think.
Can you repeat that for me?
I think that it should be tougher for the kids, only because I sat through. Jackson didn't go to the first. He didn't go through to the first tryout for the comp kids, but I sat there and I watched all the kids. And I saw what they did, and I let Coach Jabril and Coach Faddis know, if you want the top of the top, you need to be tougher on them, because
you're referring to the entry level program or the comp kids. I'm sorry.
The comp kids.
Oh, the
for
comp kids.
team.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And I know they push back and they tell me, well, we need to have fun too, and I understand.
You guys on board with that, Evelyn and Jackson?
Of course.
You feel like yeah. Does it? Well, we could start by turning the heat on every class. I think I see. I mean, that's step one. I know, and it works.
There.
Yeah. I said it from my phone on the way in, so it's nice and hot when I get there.
There's in the beginning, all the kids before comp team or whatever, everybody would do push-ups. They would go through, everybody do push-ups. They'd do some exercises and everything. And I'm like, what happened to the push-ups? He's like, well, we moved, we adjusted a little bit. And again, I know I'm not the majority, and I know that some kids go to be with some of their friends because they don't go to school with them, and I know that not everybody's at the same level. But I'm a firm believer that if we want the best of the best, there needs to be this time when they're expected to do the best, and they're expected to do it again and again and again, because repetition means something. If they're not doing it right, show them how to do it right and do it again. Some of the arm bars I see, some of the triangles, it's like, if this was a competition, you would lose 5 seconds ago, kind of thing. So, and again, I don't want to see is we need to have I don't know, huge discipline or anything like that. But if these kids want to be the best and go against the best, they need to be fast, they need to execute, and they need to have perfection.
Let me add to that. As a coach outside looking in at the adults and the kids program, the kids have a lot more time to invest in their this elite status. But it's my opinion that you absolutely, even at all three of your kids have competed on a world stage where literally kids are flying in from all over the world, like not just Brazil, from Europe, all over the world they're flying in from. So in order to get the extra edge, you have to work and put in physical work outside of jiu-jitsu. And that includes like whether it be endurance, flexibility, resistance training, lifting weights, even at their age. To compete with these other kids all over the world, you have to do that. And in those classes, the coaches try to find a balance of teaching jujitsu, getting them better at jujitsu, and leaving that extra stuff to say, we all know other kids are doing all this stuff and we can't fit it all in 1 hour or 2 hours a day, whatever we're doing. But I agree with you that definitely needs to be incorporated. And hopefully as our program matures a little bit, that we can get some outside training for the kids. But yeah, we can't do it all in one time. And every time I see them like sprinting and running and doing all that, I don't really have a say in the kids program. I give them my opinion, my feedback, but I would like it to be more jujitsu training, technical training, position training, and drilling. And then outside of that, you have to go lift weights. You have to go do that running. But they're consolidating a lot of that. And not a lot of the kids who are on there, that's even more of a commitment for parents, and I would say you're the minority of what you're willing to do to what it takes to win, as far as parents go. So, but I agree with you. They need, the standard is rising, I think, on the competition team and the expectations. Every year it slightly goes up with more kids in the program.
Yeah. Well, and that was something too. I talked to Coach DeBrill is if it gets too big, it's kind of like food coloring in water.
Yeah.
You're diluting it.
Yeah.
So I know you want to have it, and again, I understand the passion of wanting to give kids the opportunity and to be able to be part of this and everything, but you're diluting it from some of the other kids. And then there's also the point too of size and skill. Jackson, we've talked about it many times. He's lost a lot of training partners, and I've told you guys, why do you guys keep taking his training and partners and putting him in the adult class like a few years ago? Well, they get too big, and he's gone through at least eight to 10 different boys that come through and really give him a challenge, but they get too big and they move to the adults, and then maybe they move to a different gym or whatever. He still maintains some friendships and stuff, but it's like he needs that next piece of competition, and thankfully he's able to go into the adult class now. And I think he's heavier than Coach Fettis now, so it's a good
I can certify that.
He has that competition now, but there was at least 2 years there where we were just like, hey, like he's not getting what he needs because he's one of like the toughest in like from a skill set wise and from a heavy like body mass size in the comp team. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to get it? So I know that there's a lot of different variables and dynamics that the coaches are looking at, but it's just making sure like sometimes you got to be tough. And a minute ago we were talking about the Olympics. If that's something that happens and any of these kids want to go, even Jackson, I'm looking at him too, is they're going to have to take it up another level because what they're doing now is great. But what they're going to have to do to be there is going to have to be even higher than what they have right now.
Yeah, and I think the level of expectations of your peer group, just like the military, is a direct reflection of your organization. And I think that if and where you are at today is different than where you were, years ago, because the expectation is growing as time goes on with your son and your kids, and the more that and to be honest with you, that's a very that's an extreme view on how to approach a competition team, but I'm 100% alignment with it. And but the more parents that are sharing those value or those expectations of what they want for, like, call this select team, the easier it's going to be to get it done, because it's you know, we throw him on the mat and he does the work, but the parents do the majority of the work, like to get them there and the sacrifices at home on the go. So I definitely, I hope that not just at Metro, I hope across jujitsu schools all across the state, all across the country, grow and develop into having more people that share that we want a select team, a travel team, competition team. Like we want to try to do like be the absolute best in the world in our home gym. So
You, Lisa, I have one more comment to add, but I want to give Harmony and Lisa a chance to add anything.
Oh,
Which I mean, I agree with
I
being
agree.
tougher. Like, my kid definitely needs it. And she also needs to follow what her coach tells her and do her strength at home.
That pierces,
Oh,
that glaring
and
is
a 10-minute
that,
yoga on YouTube, that's not very hard to do.
Did you hear?
But it will help your mobility.
Did you hear? She's like, "Oh, I do." Oh no,
Oh,
no, I
yeah,
don't.
Exactly.
yeah. That was like parenting.
And I mean,
in a
I'm
nutshell.
yelling at her every night. It takes 15 minutes. Watch the yoga video, and all she's asked to do is 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and 50 squats. No, I heard 50 when he spoke to us.
He told me 100.
Well, I mean, 100 would be even better, but you keep saying you need to be
I'm gonna
stronger.
start checking on you. 100 a day.
Maybe break it up, morning and night, 50-50.
Well,
Yeah.
how about you let me start weightlifting?
And when do we
Find
fit
you said
that
find a place.
in our schedule?
Find a place. I'm gonna send you a. I gotta find it. We did also blocked away in the recesses of my mind is that 6-week fitness challenge we did during COVID. That was the hardest I've ever worked, like ever. Like I won't do it again. But like it was. But I'll send it to you. It's a Facebook group. It's got like the full program, body weight only. And it's like, so it starts off slow and you're doing like continue like bear crawls and then it gets to a point as throughout over the 6 weeks you're doing 60 minutes of continuous calisthenics, and I've never worked so hard in my life. Like it was like terrible. So I'll get you that. And you don't need you don't need to go buy any equipment. You know, you can go do that probably in your living room.
Mm-hmm.
Another good thing is like
Yeah.
resistance bands.
Oh,
I don't know if she has them, but they don't take up a lot of room, and you can just
Yeah.
tie them to something, and that helps.
Well,
They're
she
kinda-
doesn't believe that an 8-pound weight will help make her stronger, but it's the repetition of using it that makes you stronger and defines the muscles.
Yeah.
But I'm just mom, I know nothing.
Yeah.
I'll listen to my coach.
Oh goodness.
Harmony.
yes. I agree. The kids like that the comp team is definitely a lot tougher than the other classes. And they definitely like this. They feel like it gets a little tougher every year, and I think continuing it to make it a lot more tougher is good.
You want it tougher?
Well, more in the drills and everything like that. More in technique. I know my kids are opposites. Like one is real fast about it, and the other one overthinks it a little bit more. So, I don't know. I guess, like she said, that there are different levels of the, inside the team as well. Probably doesn't, like if you're auditioning to get into the team, like you need to bring more people in that you can work together for. I guess work together a little bit more because they are growing and their levels are going up as well. When you're bringing new kids in, I don't know how to explain it, I guess. You're starting out with training them from the start is pretty much what you're doing. And then that kind of could take the focus away from the older kids, maybe. That's just a thought. I don't know if that would happen or not. Because they are getting older, so younger kids are coming in who don't have as much experience will be coming in. Will that take the focus off them? I don't know. But I guess you would have to have...
In the comp team, you're saying?
Yeah, in the comp team.
Yeah, less.
Or we need
less
to
seasoned.
recruit some of the older kids to join the comp team and make them tougher to give the competition within the team.
A little bit. I don't know.
So when you guys are saying, when you're saying, are we referring to how miserable can we make a class in terms of, because you
Not
can,
miserable.
well, I mean,
it's a fine line.
yeah, I mean, I think you can be like, uh,
Well,
co-
it defines. Are you there to socialize or are
Well-
you there to work?
well, yeah. So when I I don't know if you Jimmy had we'll see this in Coach Sewell's classes. He passed. He can't do it every day. Like he can't do it every Thursday. But he and I have been kind of having a gentle competition of like who can run a tougher class. And he'll do these like 30-second on, 30-second off bursts, 20 in a row for 3 sets. So you're going live for 30 minutes effectively of wrestling. And I told and then followed by matches. And like when he walks around during matches, so that's after all of that. And like my wrestling is just trash. And by the time it gets to that, like I'm like, just hanging on my partner. And I joked on him, I'm like, dude, hopefully my wrestling laces weren't dependent upon what you saw at the, he's joking. He's like, no. But then the very next week, attendance will be half, like half of what that was. So that's a physically tough class, but it was all grappling. So what would you guys like to see, more strength training cardio or more mentally difficult, like classes that try to break you?
I
I'm saying break you, but like that's
I
what
know,
that's
like
what
the
it, that's what it
military.
felt.
It's like the
That's what it
military,
felt
like they break you down to build you up.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would say mental, but then also like the technique. And I'm gonna say it because it's been
The
said a
technique.
few times or whatever. If a kid's been on the comp team for longer than a year, there's no reason they should get caught in a triangle.
Mm,
And we've had a problem.
mm,
So drill it, get it in their head. Why are they even getting in that position to get caught in a triangle? Like there shouldn't even be a thought about it.
mm.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, even at the highest level, like black belts get caught in triangle, black belts get caught in like armbar or whatever, and
But
like,
they don't go right into the guard, into the triangle.
no, they shouldn't. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but,
Don't feel bad. Muhammad had the audacity. Did you see that arm
I
lock?
don't feel bad.
Yeah,
No.
did you see that? Did you see that arm lock I got caught in at Theodore Jiu-Jitsu?
No, I didn't.
Never seen it before in my life. I've never seen it before in my life ever. And I showed Muhammad Abdurrani, I showed him the tape, and he's like, I was like, have you ever seen this, dude? Like, it was sneaky. I went to kind of go to K guard, and I got razor locked. It was in the gis, so I don't think it was, but like I got razor locked while he was in my closed guard, and I was like, have you ever seen that before? And he says, I still don't know if I believe this. He's like, yeah, of course. I've just never seen a
Why'd you
black
do
belt.
that?
I've never seen a black belt get caught with it. That was his words. He's like, you normally don't see a black belt. He's like, that one's been around forever. I've never seen. Apparently, we came up through 2 different schools. I've never seen it in my life, ever,
And that's
ever,
what I'm saying.
ever
Like,
once.
if a comp kid, and I said over a year
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
comp team,
Yeah, yeah.
so their opponent should have to work to
Of
get
course,
them
of
in that
course.
triangle.
Yeah, yeah.
They shouldn't go down, get in a triangle, and the match is over in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And again, there's some really talented athletes out there. So I'm not saying it's never going to happen. I'm just saying if you see it and it's happening a lot, that should be a focus during your classes of we're not going to let this happen. Do not go right into somebody's guard. What do you do? And it should line them up. Line them up and
Yeah.
have them go through, pass the guard, get them in a triangle. Like really put your opponents and your teammates through this regiment of training so that we know I'm going to make sure that this never happens to me again.
You guys do line drills?
Did you used to?
so
Yeah, you
so
did.
when I filled in for Coach Jabril the other day, and I saw he was really pushing the kids he was pushing them like I walk in and these are like my own kids. I look at them because my son went through it, my daughters go through it, and I see how hard it is. And the physical portion is one thing, but you connect physical and emotional, man, it's a lot of weight for the kids. So I told the kids, I said after class, I sat them down and I said, since you guys are like the best of the kids that we have here, the most invested of the kids, I'm going to be honest with you. One of the jobs of a good coach is almost to make you want to quit. And they have to push you so much. So if you feel like if you feel like you're crying, you want to cry in the middle of a match, and then that emotion goes away, it's normal. It's an emotion that happens in competition. If you feel like, you're angry in the middle of a match and it goes away, like those are natural emotions that you go through. And in my opinion, part of a coach is you have to push the kids constantly to the limit until, not all kids, I'm talking about select competition kids, until they prove the coach wrong, or the coach says, okay, you're training too much, slow down. You're training too hard, slow down. So, and that's my philosophy on kids who want it. You have to push them to that edge and just make sure that they want to be here. And here's one of my final questions to you guys is, tomorrow or next week, your kids come to you and say, I don't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore. I don't want to compete, or I don't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore. And it's a real question. Being here as long as you guys have, what are you guys going to do? Okay, we're done. Okay, or no, I'm curious to know, for all the experience you have and the growth that you've seen in your kids. You know your children. You can see it in their eyes. I don't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore. What do you guys do?
Try to figure out where their reasoning's coming from for that. And is it a valid something that you just need a mental break? Or, I mean,
I don't like it anymore.
I don't think those words would come.
If they did. Because they come to hundreds of parents and thousands across the world.
Which, and I just remind her from when she started right away. And my kid, like, she has to put the work in to get somewhere with it. She's not naturally there, But I want to be a black belt. So that's always my thing when she's having a bad day. I'm like, well, this is like a lifelong process to get you to a black belt starting as a child. Like, you have a goal, stick with it.
Yeah, there's probably I don't know, maybe thousands of kids that have started with Jabril until now. And I think him and I were talking about it the other day. And I don't know if any kid within the first 3 years of when he started is also a black belt. It's not an easy thing to do. So how about you? You're like, you know your kids. You're already invested more than you want to financially, time wise. The fire's not there. You're having to force them. And I'm talking to you today, not when you first started. What do you do? I don't want to go.
I'd actually give them a break for a few. I'd tell them, you know what, we're going to take a break for a few weeks and think if that's really what you want to do. Because I've gone through it with one of my kids already. They said they came to me and said they didn't like it anymore. They didn't want to do it. I said, okay, let's take a little break and then we'll see where we're at in a few weeks. And they came back to me and said they wanted to try it again and go back and see if they still felt like they loved it. They went back and they felt a love for it again.
What if they came back and said, no, I still don't love it anymore?
Well, then I guess they're not going to do it anymore, honestly. If they really don't love it anymore, then I'm not going to force them to do it. But
Miss Wilman?
Yeah, he's doing it at least for 4 more years. I see it as more of, I try to look at it from a life lesson standpoint. We signed up for this, and again, he's an adult when he graduates high school, so he'll be 17, not 18. And like a job, sometimes you just can't quit. You put yourself out there, you commit to something, and you have to follow through. So showing that commitment of following through. If he was hurt, like if something was physically hurting him or something, we would have to think of something else. But just, I don't like it, I'm not going to do it. Well, no. Do I like going to work every day? No. But I still got to do it. So
would you have that? Have you ever dealt with a rebellious teen?
yes.
Oh, you have a few of them. Okay.
Oh my god.
Like, do you know how challenging that is?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Oh. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Keep going. Keep talking. I'll just get your.
yeah, so he's got to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
At least until he graduates high school, it's part of his being at home and what we're doing.
Would it have been another sport for you that you have to do it until high school, or
No, because he's played different sports. If he signs up for a sport, he has to follow through for that season.
yeah?
There's no quitting in between. I don't raise quitters. I know that's probably something bad to say on
It's
here,
not.
but I don't let them quit. And because of the discipline and the mental ability and things that you need with jujitsu, I just see that as it's going to carry on through him throughout his life. So it's a life skills that he's gaining that's going to help him way beyond. Some kids want to go to college and play football or play soccer, and they're going to be a pro athlete or whatever. Jackson's even told me, I'm going to be in the NFL. Okay, if you make it, great, but you still need discipline. You still need a way to make money, so you're going to have some schooling or something. Right now, his path is the military. So if it's jujitsu and it's the discipline and
Dog,
everything
you
else,
you want to talk about a job you can't quit?
exactly.
Like, yeah.
And
literally, you
Mhm.
sign over your rights.
Yeah.
Literally,
So and now this will help him with that mentality of dealing with authoritative figures that are in your face, screaming and everything, going through the stress of competitions, of people rooting for you, and the pressure and everything else. I don't think that it's healthy all the time, but managed, and like you said, with the coaches and the parents helping and guiding them through it, we're only setting them for success.
So my kids ask me pretty frequently to quit. I have a little bit of a different reason for it. I still very much want to. I have two different reasons, and I've got obviously they're not, my kids aren't on the comp team. I still compete, right? To Lisa's point and Harmony's point, like why? Why do you want to quit? And if the answer is simply I don't want to, it's hard. To me, that's not a good enough reason. If let's say it's a coach, right? Because a coach can kill a sport, right? Or it's some of the kids, or like it's the environment. It's not the environment you want them to train in. Then maybe we can, right? Maybe we can find a. I'm gonna have to come back and circle around what that facial expression meant. I couldn't quite get a read on it, but if the environment is not the environment you want them in, then that's a conversation to be had. But like my Scarlett came to me in tears one time, and they hate the gi, and they hate the gi in the heat. They literally
You talk too loud
they,
about that
they,
subject.
they
That's
have
why.
they have a
They're
song.
picking it up from
No,
you.
no, no,
Yes,
no,
they
no,
do.
no. I don't
Yes,
talk
they
about.
get it from you.
I don't talk about jiu-jitsu. I think they have a brain. I think they.
his resilience to the gi.
Yeah,
The heat.
they made up a song. Gi is the worst and no gi is the best. Gi. They literally made it like who likes gi? I hate gi, or I like no gi. Like they made up a whole song, and Amanda sent me a video. The point is
You're
the
such
point.
a proud
The,
dad.
the
I know,
point.
you're so proud of
It was a pretty proud moment. But Scarlett and I had she's getting better in her negotiating skills, right? Like well, Dad, because I'm doing schoolwork, or whatever, and she's like, I hate jujitsu. I already know all of the moves, and I said, this is not my finest moment. I said, no, you don't, Scarlett. I said, and you can quit jujitsu when you can defend yourself against an attacking grown man. Then you can quit. That's my reason. And she's like, I can do that. I was like, okay, then how about I go take you up against the comp kids? And when they dust you and you come back crying to me, then maybe you'll realize you don't know what you think you know. Like, it was not my proudest moment, right? But like, I was like,
How old's
maybe
your
I'll,
daughter?
I'll, she's 8, 9.
She could be on the camera. She could be
9.
on camera.
I think she should be.
She's 9.
I
So,
think she should
but
be.
the,
I
the,
think she would make it. I think he should hand his kids off to us and say, I'm on the back end,
In
and
the
all I
heat.
do is drop them off.
yeah, for context, Hoist didn't start his son till about 15. So I feel like I'm ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
right? But if for me it's a self-defense thing, for sure for Scarlett with certainty. But then it's also like life is a competition. That's to me, I think that's the real value of it. So like when you want to say, I hear these, I'm on the Parents of BJJ Kids page, really more to just make me feel better about myself. But like, it's like they're like, oh, these refs, and I was like, don't let it go to decision. Like, if you choke the other child unconscious, there's no way they're going to declare him the winner. Period. And if like you want to talk about the military, right? Someone shoots you in the head before you shoot them in the head. Like that's the competition, right? You're up for a position at work or job or school, law school, right? Or getting. I don't. Life is a competition, and you can say, like no one likes that. We have a lot of things in place to be like, oh well, let's involve everyone. But to your point about the flavoring in the water, like the more if everyone has superpowers, then no one has superpower, right? If you let everyone in, then no one is special. And so it's a competition. And if you're going to do anything noteworthy, you will have to compete. And the more noteworthy of a thing that you want to do, the higher the competition of people you have to compete against. And they will not, like, you have to expect that they're going to outwork you. You can't just be like, oh, what I'm doing is enough. That's why you see these people like they're maniacs is the right word. They're obsessive with it. Now, what are their relationships and friendships and things look like? Fulfillment, different question, right? Like that's a different question. Where does that come into play with that? But if you're gonna go, my kids they don't have a career path yet, but they will know what it's like to endure something difficult and not want to do it. Landon had swimmer's ear. He had swimmer's ear yesterday. I felt for him, and the swimmer's ear sucks. Like it's very painful.
Cauliflower?
No,
No
water
in your ear. Like it's pretty painful. And Amanda, she's
So
like,
do you have any plans on telling your kids you have to compete?
I'm not gonna make him compete.
Never?
Well, Scarlett has before.
Scarlett, no, she has competed, and she's like, I'll broach the topic. I'll broach the topic, and I might do a bit like, hey, guy, as they get, one, I want to set them up for success. Like right now, like Lena might do all right. Scarlett will do. Scarlett's hurdle is she's like she was almost 90 pounds at 9 years old. So like that's kind of there's a safety issue. They might bump her up in age. And so then against like another grade. So, but I, like right now, like I don't make them, bro. Like I don't make them compete. They have competed, and she has expressed interest, and I want to do the next tournament or whatever, and we might do that. But for right now, like what my goal is, I'm zooming out of the big picture. And I'm thinking, case in point, like Scarlett 18, 19, like I want her to go, if she goes to college, which she'll be paying for herself, like or with the grants or whatever she gets, like I don't want to, there won't be a scenario in which like, this kid took advantage of me and there was nothing I could do. Like that won't exist. What will exist is, college freshman, encounters broken ACL, from while attacking a girl. Like that might be a thing, right? But competition, I think, it's competitive enough. Right now, I'm not going to force them.
Yeah, they are young. I have been in my kids' ear since the day they started jujitsu about competing. And I don't think I've ever, with none of my kids, told them, even as we're seasoned in each belt, saying I expect you, maybe Jabril, but the rest of them not really expect you to win. But I pushed them to compete in Amina until now. When like if I just happen to hear, oh, there's one in Frankenmuth, there's one here, there's one there, I'm like, are we going? Is she signed up? I'm like, who's taking care of this? Let's go. So
we need a roadblock for that.
Yeah, the growth in jiu-jitsu comes from competition. It comes so much like on every possible level. The growth in jiu-jitsu, just the thinking about it, the stress of thinking about it, the stress of preparing for it, the stress of going there, the stress of competing around your friends and family. For a little while they can't be kids. They have to they feel the stress of what's going to happen and preparing for it. So I personally think that it should be for people who really want to get the benefit of jiu-jitsu, you got to compete.
Well, and it's the confidence too that they gain from the competition. Like,
Yeah.
which that confidence is going to take them all the way through life
Yeah.
and make things that much easier.
Yeah, and it makes it easier for them to like look back and say, well, I remember coach did tell me about the arm bar or the triangle or something like that. So it makes it a lot easier for the kids to like reflect and take accountability because at your kids' level, they've seen and heard every offense and defense to what they're going to see for quite a while. And it does help them to like take accountability. But I think kids should compete. They should be if you're a diehard like some people.
Let's
you
circle
have
back to
force
what
them.
was the facial expression, like what were you
Oh.
were you just saying in terms of the difficulty of class or making it tough,
No.
the environment?
When he had asked what if Scarlett or Landon or whatever said, no, I don't want to do this anymore. You made a comment in there, well, if it was the coach, we'd have to have a talk about it. And I was just like, well, wait a second. Do you like all your teachers? Do you like all your coaches? Do you like all your bosses? Because those are the things where you use some of that, mental ability and thinking of how am I going to get through this? I'm not the parent.
Use it as a lesson.
Yeah, because a lot of people with kids in school, they'll say, well, they're getting out of this class because that teacher's just not right for them.
That's a thank you. That's a clarifying point.
Yeah.
But if they say so, you're getting to the real point of the well, Coach David he's just a jerk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people have quit because of Coach David for sure, and they with certain this year probably. And they,
Yesterday.
after promotion, right? And they, but if they're like, well, it's Coach David, I'm like, okay, well, what about Coach David? And then we had, yeah, so then you're diving to the root of the problem, and now it's not a jiu-jitsu. It's not your problem's not jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Your problem's an interpersonal problem, which is also pretty valuable skill,
Yes.
to come up with. So thank you for that.
That was it.
That clarifying point.
Anything else, ladies? Did we miss anything?
So we are okay. Yeah, we are well over time. So that's pretty much it for the
Was there any comments?
not one. Not a single comment. I was going to check on them. Amanda always does, like I always text her.
No trolling, not even for the moms?
Not even from what was his name? Her name.
Maggot?
Maggot.
Yeah.
Do we know who Maggot is?
I don't.
Okay. All right. So
Didn't you figure it out? It was someone that knew.
They know Journey somewhere, some way, but like I don't know. Yeah, this is we talked pre-show. We were talking about like the we'll call it the metaverse, right? Like the Oculus thing and how people just. I feel like that's someone can have a persona, and Maggot I think is the first. So you start renaming yourself, and then you go talk mad smack. So we're gonna go ahead and end the show, you guys. I really appreciate you all being on and taking the time out of your work schedules and things like that. Sharing a little bit of experience. I think one thing I will add, it's always really important to add context into our to anything really, like take things with context. But if you're looking at, if you take any one of these, which we may, out of like a one clip, I don't raise quitters, right? And you could say, well, that's a pretty,
She's mean.
You could enrage some people, right?
I could.
And then you hear on the other side of the scale, you hear Harmony say, I'm not going to make my kids do something that they don't want to do. And then you see a jiu-jitsu coach say, I'm not going to make my kids compete. And then you also have, even at this table, the only way to get the most out of jiu-jitsu is through competition. Like, so kind of like to paint the broader spectrum of the full conversation that it is. The reality is, the facts are, most kids don't compete regularly in jiu-jitsu. I mean, that's just the reality, and those are the facts, right? And kids training jiu-jitsu, people training jiu-jitsu are better than people. It's a better. They will be in a better spot than if they don't, right? Because it's a kind of this superfood to it, right? Due to the forced interpersonal skills, the physical difficulty, the things of that nature. So it's a much better thing all around. And if you're not, if you watch in, it's important too to find a school that you can see yourself training at. So we mentioned the environment, right? We've had people, they come in, they're like, your school is just too big. Like I like a little bit more intimate class. That's cool. Like plenty of schools around, like where you'll get more intimate classes or maybe different whatever. It's not like buying out a pair of sneakers. We always say you got to find a school where you feel comfortable with, that you can see the community in. I signed a young lady up last night. Actually, Evelyn, you and Journey made her feel. She came from a wrestling program, and she couldn't stop saying enough things about you guys and how welcome you made her feel. And she's like, "Those girls are awesome." Like they literally plugged her right in. Of just she didn't you didn't know her like from school or anything, right? She seemed like you did. Like she knew you guys. She was talking to you guys by name. She's like, Evelyn and Journey, they're great. So like I think that, and that's not really something that we can't take credit for that. That's a huge portion of your guys, upbringing as well, and the personality. I mean, we have some expectations, of course, but
I will say as a disclaimer, Coach, maybe
yeah.
you could put this at the beginning portion of the video, is this entire conversation is probably, it would equate to 5 or 10% of what jiu-jitsu as a whole is in a typical school. And even at Metro, like this conversation is a very select few and extreme, and maybe some extreme views on how you approach it, how the journey has been, what you do, and how much you train, and things like that. So it's not for everybody. But for me, for the Coach Jabril, Coach Faddis, and the other coaches, it's our favorite part of jiu-jitsu, of just like dialing in and being 100% committed to like training hard for something. So, but it's a very small percentage of our school and other schools across the country. So hopefully we didn't scare anybody away.
Yeah, they'll be all right. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, appreciate y'all. As always, we'll see you
On the mats.
And give me about 5 seconds.